yeah. Oh, we gon' put your business on display. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, we gon' put your business on display. I got winners on the way. You know you can't knock the hustle. And if you gotta get in place, and we gon' put your business on display. Grab a seat with Neesha for a minute. And if you got the goods, we can talk about your business. She know what it's like to make a move independently. And I don't fake it's like that. We've been trusting God like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, we gon' put your business on display.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody is having a fantabulous hump day this week in April. And I am here, Neesha, with Neesha's Network, once again, 12 o'clock noon Central Standard Time, where I am here introducing people that I think you should know. I am super excited about my guest today. So we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to introduce to you none other than Coach Allie Robinson Rogers. I might have said, yes, I said it right. Hey, Allie. We can't hear you.
How are you today?
Doing good. Let me tell you guys, this is my new friend. That relationships are God's idea, and he connects you with people divinely. And I am super excited that she has joined me today. Here we go, you guys. I met her on Clubhouse. Everybody's probably sick of me saying that, right? But I met this beautiful woman on Clubhouse, and I just connected with her right away because of her, our kindred spirits. Very outgoing, beautiful smile. Very encouraging. And so I'm going to be quiet and let Allie introduce herself to you guys as we talk today. So Allie, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, you got any kids, married, just tell us a little bit about yourself and a fun fact.
Wow. Awesome. I am so thankful for you having me on today. I think you said it, you nailed it right on the head, that we connected just kind of immediately just with our spirits and our experiences. So I'm excited to be here with you today. So yeah, I'm Allie. And I have been married to a wonderful husband I always say my marriage is grown up now because we have been married 21 years. So it's officially a grown up marriage. Together we have 7 children. And how many grandkids? 5 grandkids and 3 pets. They are kids too. But yeah, I was born and raised in Philly. I currently live in New Jersey, but I still consider myself a Philly girl. And I'm just really excited to be here with you today to talk about my business and some of the things that I do that maybe can be of service to your community.
So guess what? I didn't know that you were in Jersey. In my brain, it's just Philadelphia. So how far is Philadelphia from Jersey?
I am 15 minutes from Philadelphia. So I'm not deep in Jersey. I'm literally right on the other side of the bridge, not far at all.
Okay. All right. So you're still 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about the fact that, of course, Allie is also a very family-oriented person, and I just love her story. And I love people that see what you do and they see it and they encourage you in it, which she has been for me as well. And it just seems like a coaching season. It seems like a time where people are really trying to tap into their full potential. And guess what? Not just in sports, but if you are looking for some form of direction, if you're looking for some encouragement or just a reset in your life or in your business, it is high time to hire you a coach. And the world is big enough where every coach, me and my daughter talked about this last week, every coach is not your fit. But I just want to say that I personally connected with Allie, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make me an appointment for a session with Allie Robinson Rogers, okay, for personal and professional development. And I do believe in that, you guys. So while we're just talking today, it just puts me in the mindset of, don't forget to invest in yourself. take the time to invest. And I do believe, and I can say this from my own experience with building a relationship with Allie, that she is an amazing coach. So I want to know, Allie, why did you choose to go into this field? Because we'll talk about some of the other fields, but just tell us why you decided to go into the field of coaching.
Yeah. So I think for me, in a way, it's always been who I am, right? Like at my core, even kind of as a little kid, jokingly, I had to learn how to manage some of the help and support that I always wanted to offer to people. But it's kind of a joke with my mother and I that on all of my report cards from, I don't know, kindergarten through probably high school, it always said Allie helps everyone do their work before she does her own, right? And so while I had to learn what that meant for me and had to make some adjustments, it's really at the core of my personality and who I've always been. And then I think through my lifetime, I've experienced a lot of different types of trauma. I mean, from racism and bullying and abuse. Just anything you can ever think about, I've probably almost experienced it, right? And when I learned how to do the work that I needed to do necessary to allow me to show up as my whole self, after working with women for years and other people, I realized that a lot of people didn't realize what was stopping them. So that's really kind of what pushed me to kind of really formalize a business and say, hey, I really want to share what I've learned with the rest of the world.
That's interesting that you want to actually take the experiences, and even I never heard you really say the trauma, the different things that you've experienced, and actually share that with others and how, I guess, to overcome them. So, tell us a little bit about that, because I guess I didn't know that part of you. How did you overcome? I guess that's the biggest word, that, and some of the things, if you don't mind sharing, some of the things you did overcome, just whether it be personal or professionally, that pushed you into the coaching to say, I can do this to help people.
Yeah. I think the way that I overcame was to really do a deep dive focus on me and the healing that I needed from all of the situations I had experienced. I mean, I didn't realize that when I'll give you one example. I didn't realize that when I was a victim of domestic violence 25 years ago, right, that had an impact on who I was showing up until I started doing the deep work, right? Hey, Wes. I mean, I have had such random traumatic experiences, and I don't want to just kind of limit it to trauma. I think it's just all of these experiences, being bullied as a child, and people, I am what I would consider bicultural, and folks not understanding that and questioning, well, what are you and who are you, and all of those things that I dealt with kind of as a child, and then as a young adult, the abuse. And I mean, I've been the victim of attempted kidnapping. Like, I just had all these weird, random experiences. I worked with women for a long time. I'm also a family member of someone who was impacted by the disease of addiction. So just dealing with that, like, it's just been a lot, but I am so clear that when we focus on ourselves and make sure that we have a continuous process of healing and being able to identify, we don't always need to change everything, right? But sometimes it's just about identifying and knowing how you're showing up so that you can make any necessary adjustments that you need to make. It's almost like turning the volume up or down, right? Like, there's some things I need to turn the volume down on. There's some things I need to turn the volume up on, but I need to know where I am on that dial.
So when did you because I've heard you say, you have mentors and coaches. When did the light bulb go on for you that, this is time for me to go get some healing myself?
Yeah. At one point I got to, and this was maybe 10, 12 years ago, I got to the place where I was so depressed because how I was showing up, I thought I was being of help and service to the people around me, my family, my children, my parents, and my friends. And I really kind of felt like a failure. Like, I felt like I was unable to be the support that I believed I was supposed to be, right? Like I told you the story from me being in school and always helping people. And I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And I felt like a failure. And I actually attempted suicide, right? Like I just felt like there was no value for me being here if I could not be who I thought I was supposed to be.
Wow.
And that experience pushed me to find some help and to get around not really just one people, but multiple people who could help me start digging into really who I was, where those feelings were coming from, and kind of pulling apart the pieces of and all the layers of what made me who I am.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot. I think that speaks to the passion that comes while you're in this field. And one of the things, I don't know why there's an echo, but one of the things I think about is that made me lose my train of thought, that echo. But oh, here it is. You know the saying that says your misery becomes your ministry.
Yes.
And how the things you've gone through were not by accident. And if you've overcome them, then you can help other people to overcome. So tell us a little bit more of why you're so passionate about this field of coaching people. Now, we already know since you're a little girl, you were helping other people. That's pretty amazing in itself. It kind of speaks. That's a very key point for parents to pay attention to their children and their giftings when they're younger, because kind of mold them into who they're going to be. But what makes you passionate about this field?
Yeah, I think what makes me passionate is that when I went through my own experiences, there were a couple of things I think that positioned me to not initially get the help I needed, right? One was that in a sense, I was ashamed to admit that I was going through something, or that I was not 100% of what I think people were expecting me to be, right?
Okay.
And so there were a lot of instances where I didn't share what I was going through with anyone. Even if I think about things like even in my marriage, right? Like because folks look to me as the married one, I didn't want to be like, no, my marriage is falling apart. And you know what I mean? Like just being able to admit to people that I am not okay was really a challenge for me. And then as I started working with other people, I realized they had that same challenge, right? And then I think people were often struggling with, I am a woman of faith. But what I realized is even in some of the ministry work that I was doing, that some folks could not make the connection between their faith and the help they really needed, right? And it was like, well, I'm just going to read my Bible. And I was like, all right, I really need you to do some additional work, because your faith and your spiritual values are only a piece of the puzzle of the work that we need to do to ensure that we are whole. And so when I started noticing these things and seeing these things, I think it made me more passionate, because I was like, wait, no, you got to know this part, right? Because these things are important. And I don't want other people to have to struggle for the amount of time that I struggled, right? I would really love to be able to help people move through the process a little bit quicker, so that folks are not in a position where they are feeling helpless and unworthy, and even moving to the extreme that I did, right? Which was thinking that I didn't deserve to be here.
That is so good. That's a Selah moment. That's a Selah moment. Pause, you know. I love that you also said that you desire to help people close the gap between where they are and where they want to be, so their experiences don't prohibit them from reaching their goals. And I was thinking about not only closing the gap, but also bridging the gap between their faith and knowing that it's first spiritual, natural, then spiritual. You need some natural help as well, along with the spiritual, to help you. So I love that you said that. Now here's a light bulb moment. When did the light bulb go off to say, you know what? I have helped the world. I have sacrificed. I have poured out. This is a business. When did that light bulb moment come on?
I think that what's crazy is, I think that the light bulb moment didn't go off until recently, like within the past year, right? That I felt like in order to, as I mentioned in my analogy, well, in my story about my report cards, right, that Allie helps other people. One of the things in me showing up as my best self for people is making sure that I am not pouring so much and not pouring into myself, right? There's a harmony, not necessarily a balance, but a harmony that needs to happen as we do our self-healing. And what I realized is that while I love to help the world, I needed some harmony there, right? And that harmony emerged as me saying, okay, I need to have a business component to the work that I do. I still do some ministry work, and I still do help people in some cases outside of my business. But I think the business is the best strategy for me to ensure that I am not burning myself out, and that I'm still able to give 100% of myself to those people that I serve. Because even in my business, it's serving, right? It is, and I consider it that. So I had to make sure I wasn't, you know what I mean? Because I'm no good to anyone else if I am not at my best.
Yes, and I love that Kristen says she loves that you said the word harmony, because I heard that the B word is a bad word. The word balance, I heard that was a bad word. So I love that you use the word harmony. And I think about it like learning how to dance and causing people to learn how to dance with you and respect you and your business as well. So with this, I'm just going to ask you, everybody has practical lessons that they've learned. And since you started, you said a year, you just been, like hone in on the business. What practical life lesson have you learned just within this last year?
I think the practical lesson, I don't know if I probably learned it before this last year, but have really honed in on it, is this notion that, and it's the name of my business, incidentally, but serenity is at the core of your clarity and focus, right? Like you can't focus on where you want to go if you have all these things going on around you. You're not paying attention, your feelings are hurt, you're confused, like you have all of these things going on. Right. And in order to have the clarity and focus that we need to move forward with whatever we want to do, we just got to have that serenity. And that serenity comes from our internal work. It doesn't come from, my peace does not come from anyone else, right?
Right.
I mean, other than my beliefs, other than my spiritual beliefs, my peace doesn't come from external factors. And so that's something that I've really tried to hone in on this past year.
That is so true. And I love that you said that, because it's not until I actually get quiet and still that I can actually hear very clearly. But when I'm on the move, it's really easy to not hear, and everything gets in the way, and everybody else's needs are fulfilled and met, but mine are not.
Yeah.
So I totally appreciate you saying that. You said peace comes from within, so you have to do the necessary self-work. And you guys, if you're just tuning in, we are here with Coach Allie Robinson Rogers of SerenityMode services, and she is a personal and a professional development coach. And so that means you can hit it on both sides, your personal life or as well as your professional life. What needs to be developed? What do you need to hone in on? So if you had a preference, Allie, which do you prefer? I don't want to put you on the spot there, but I am. In terms of like personal, do you think one has to go before the other? Do you think you have to have the personal life in order before the professional? Or do you think that some people, their professional life will lead them to personal development of what they need? What do you think?
Yeah, I actually think that they are connected so deeply, right? And so I don't know if I had to think about, I mean, on one hand, I believe that in order to move to where you want to go, you have to have yourself together. But I also believe that if you have not done that, and while you are working on your professional, we're going to dig into your personal anyway, right? Because that is really, I guess if I had to make a choice, that probably is the starting point. But I think there are many ways to get to that starting point. But from a professional standpoint, you can't move to that next level if you don't do the necessary work.
Wow. And that's on both levels, right?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
So
I don't
doing
know. I feel like I got dark all of a sudden. Let's see.
it got a little dark over there in Jersey. I don't know what happened. Did the sun go away?
I don't know what happened,
Okay.
but we gonna keep going. I promise I'm not in witness protection.
There you go. You're light again. To turn on the light. Well, you know what? That's a great analogy, you guys, that if you are in a dark place or in a place where you need I'm talking about like having mental fog or just, the lights are not turning on. This is a great opportunity for you to connect with Coach Allie because she will help lead you to the places that you need to get to. Okay. And I'll say this again. The name of your business speaks volumes. Serenity Mode. What mode are you all walking in today? Why is the serenity so important? Everybody needs it. Everybody needs it to get out of the brain fog and just gets a sense of direction. And that's why you hire a coach. And every coach needs a coach. Every counselor needs a counselor. No one is exempt. And I say invest in yourself. So, Allie, how can people get in contact with you to schedule their appointments?
Yeah, folks can schedule with me directly on my website, which is www.serenity-mode.com. I'm on Instagram pretty often, so folks can also message me there, and it's at _Coach Allie. And I also have a page on Facebook that is under Serenity Mode. So I'm also able to be reached there.
That's good. So I have a question for you. This is not one of the questions that you probably were gonna thinking about answering, but how do you feel about the entire coaching arena and how every a dime a dozen, there are coaches everywhere. How do you feel? And I'm a life coach and relationship coach, so I have my own perspective as well. But I'm just curious to hear. I've interviewed probably about 7 coaches so far, just network, and so I just want to hear your take on what do you have to say about the co-coaching business right now, and it's so broad.
I think that the coaching business is going through an interesting growth period right now. I do think that there is space for a lot of coaches in different areas, right? Like folks focus on different things, and sometimes it may be a little difficult for people to identify what specifically they need to work on. But I do think that it's helpful for folks who are looking for coaches to at least do a little bit of research on who that person is, right? Their experience, like we talked about a little while ago, their experience plays into their ability to support you through whatever that is. And so while I think that, I don't want to say that new businesses, because it's not necessarily about new business. It's about the person's experience and the lifetime of their work. So I think there's space out there for everyone. I do think that I think as coaches, we are trying to encourage folks to understand that there is help out there. And so that's a shift too, because there are some people who have not yet experienced what it means to work with a coach, right? And a coach can help keep you accountable. They can help you discover things within yourself that you may not have thought about, right? So it's a powerful tool. I guess my only thought would be just to make sure that you kind of look up who you know what I mean? Look into who you're looking for to be a coach for you.
That's good. But so while we're talking about you, what makes you stand out? What makes you Serenity Mode stand out from all the other coaching businesses and life coaching? There's the light again. I don't know what happened. Okay. Tell us what stands out for you. What makes you different? Why should people come to you?
Yeah, I think what makes me different is that one, I've had a significant amount of experience, right, in various areas. I think the second thing is that I've actually done the work myself, right? I am not gleaning insight. Not that I have coaches and I work with other people and I read research and I read other people's books and all of that. But the reality is I've been through it, and I speak from that of which I know, right? And I think the other part is I try my very best, and people tease me about it sometimes, is that I show up and I bring peace with me, right? And that's not everyone's cup of tea, and I'm okay with that, right? Like some people need somebody to go hard in the paint, right? Like and be like, you need to do it, you know? And I am much more of a peaceful, gentle soul, but I really do like to encourage people to explore. I believe that people have the answers within them. And my job is just to help them find what's inside of them already. And so that's different, you know? And I think the other part that makes me unique and different is that I've had the formalized training as well, right? And so my degrees are in organizational development and leadership development. And so that's the professional piece. And I'm also a certified life coach. So I've done the work, right? To have not only, I've done the work, not in terms of just moving through the healing that I needed to experience, but also putting systems in place and also being formally trained. I think the combination of those three things is what may set me apart differently from some other people.
That's really good. That's really good. And having the training is so key. And it doesn't make anyone any more or less, but it is valuable when you can find someone who's done the work, not only for themselves as a personal development piece, but also professionally, so they can give you the best of what they have had to offer, and what they've experienced and learned and been trained for. So I wanted to speak a little bit about the fun fact. And the fun fact about Allie for me, this is for me, is the fact that she was a nail tech. So she was a coach and a counselor way before she launched this business, SerenityMode, okay? Because people know how important it is to go get your nails done. So she was a nail for how long? A nail tech for 15 years?
Oh, yeah, about 15 years.
And owned several nail salons. So we also connected with that beauty industry as well. But also knowing that every time someone sits down to relax and you're putting your hands in someone else's hands, that speaks volumes alone. Would you agree with that, Allie?
Oh, absolutely. I have so many stories.
Oh my goodness. Well, let me ask you one last question, because it's been such a joy talking to you and so much information. I'm looking forward to my time with you as well. And that is, out of everything you've done, what are you most proud of?
Ooh, out of everything I've done, you know what? I think the thing I'm most proud of is developing the ability to live in serenity mode myself, right?
That's
To
good.
have peace no matter what is happening around me. I'm clear that I cannot control the world, but I am most proud of being able to continuously do the work necessary to maintain a high level of peace in my life. And I'm proud of that. Like, I think that's something to be proud of.
That is. Hey, you guys, we have to do the work in order to gain and obtain that serenity, and let nothing know that we can't control anything, but we can do all we can to obtain our own serenity and our own peace. So if you guys are looking for that serenity mode for your life, I recommend highly Coach Allie. You guys contact her, and I know the website is serenity-mode.com. Tap into that. Contact Allie. She is an amazing woman, and she's also a woman of faith, a woman of God, and I'm just so honored to be your friend, and just that you are willing to invest in so many people, including me. That means the world to me. So are there any last words you'd like to share before we go?
I don't know, not really. Oh, I have an upcoming masterclass coming up called Bossed Up and Unbothered. So folks can go to the website and register for that. The waiting list is open now, so I'm excited to be able to do that. It'll probably launch in a couple weeks, and it is free, and I'm excited about it.
Bossed Up and Unbothered. You guys go register. Go to SerenityMode.com and go ahead and register for Boss Up. You know the date? What are the dates, Allie?
No, it'll be in a couple weeks. I'm tweaking one last thing. But folks can get on the waiting list.
So guess what? Get on the waiting list, you guys. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, our time today. Thank you so much for sharing your gift with the world.
Thank you for having me. Y'all know I love me some Neesha now. I think that maybe like the second time we met, I was like, oh, this is my virtual BFF.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to meet in person in October, so I'm super excited about that, if not before. All right, you guys, thank you so much for today. Tune in to Neesha's Network. We have one more segment today where we're going to be talking about the Mother's Day event called A Colorful Space to Flourish, where you can come and connect with other moms and breathe and exhale with none other than my baby sister, Rachel Jones. So until then, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you, Allie. Love you and appreciate you.
Much. Love you too.
Yeah. Oh, we go put your business